Welcome to the AA Sports Podcast, minor league feel with major league discussion. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
Welcome back, everyone, to the AA Sports Podcast. We're your hosts, Alan and Alan. So, we took a little 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, it's been a long time since episode 15.
Yeah. So, episode 16, we're in quarantine.
Yeah? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. Pretty much, I built me a custom PC to help with editing of this podcast and more. Other than that, we slowly getting the baby room ready.
Yeah, man. I guess you've also had enough time to get me some cool cards here.
Yeah. I'm just getting more and more back into the hobby of cards, and it kind of fulfill the sports kind of missing, like pulling cards, looking for cards.
Yeah, man.
So it's been fun. But it's really been it. You?
We've been doing chores basically. So we ripped up about 8 small trees in the yard. The first 3 near the garage were pretty easy, but then the ones further away from the house were hard. And then the last one was a pain in the butt. Oh my God. It was like these big fat roots for days. I was like, it sucked. So yeah, we got that taken care of. Other than that, just been working, man.
Yeah. It's weird, couldn't believe it's May. It's warm.
I know.
I came over here and it's bright as hell. It's like, God.
Right, and I'm this close to cutting my own hair. It's going to happen. I got to do it. I just,
Hey, I'm surprised you haven't.
It's happening. Next time you see me, it'll probably be a shaved head. There you go.
Yeah, so, all right, let's get into the business. Let's talk some baseball.
Baseball.
So we're going to go to some beanball talk.
All right.
So first things first, I guess we can say congrats to Blake Snell winning the Players League World Series for the MLB show that they did.
I mean, I guess that deserves a golf clap. Before Blake Snell got all the way to the championship game, he did play our boy Jeff McNeil.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, so you tell me how it went down.
So Snell beat McNeil 2-1 in the semifinals.
Oh, this was pretty close.
Yeah, it went, I think Jeff took, first, or no, I think Blake took the first, McNeil took the second, and then he took
What was
the
that,
third.
best out of
3 for the semis.
Wow. Well, how's the setup? Who are they playing with? Any teams? Like regular team? Their team.
Their team.
So Jeff McNeil got to play as himself. And,
Yep.
Cool. So Blake Snell got to pitch.
Yes, probably, most likely. And then Blake defeated Lucas Giolito of the White Sox. He beat Ian Harp of the Cubs.
Oh, okay.
The funny thing is Giolito was the 6th seed going into the playoffs. And Blake was the number 1 seed.
How do they even seed these people?
They did a regular season.
Wow.
If I remember correctly, I think it got down here. Yeah, Blake went 24-5.
Hold on. So 24-5?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Lucas went 19-10.
Well, Blake Snell was.
And I think McNeil was like
favorite.
23-7 or something like that.
Okay.
He was having a great season, and he finished 4th in the regular season.
So, do you know what their ratings are? What is Blake Snell's rating on this game? Do you know?
I don't. I didn't look it up.
I can imagine if he's rated at like.
Well, the funny thing is, before all this happened, he was the one that was playing. Like he Twitch streams and everything on a regular basis.
So he's a pro.
He's a semi-pro.
He's the guy to beat.
Like I remember he was playing, I think MLB The Show or something else when he found out that one of his teammates, the trader in the off season, and people got the reaction because, of course, he was recording. He's like, "Don't tell me they just traded my boy." And like. He's an avid gamer.
Whoa! So this is pretty cool then, because if he's an avid gamer and he does this on Twitch and things like that, to have Jeff McNeil come so close, that's pretty. What does it say about your boy Jeff?
Jeff was having a great year. Like he was playing a lot and he was having fun. He started streaming. P. Lonzo joined him playing against each other and having a good old time. So
I saw they were giving away awards for that too, like best commentary or best whatever avatar or something.
I think the funny thing when I realized that they were doing on ESPN FS1 for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, because everything else was been online, and then next thing they're like, oh, look, we're going to show this on ESPN FS1.
Because it gives us something competitive.
I was like, you're showing sports movies.
I'm surprised they're not showing more of NASCAR stuff. Maybe it's because they don't have a deal anymore or something, I guess.
Well, yeah, partially that because Fox has NASCAR, so they've been showing all that. But NASCAR is going to be the first sports back
I
this
know.
month.
Well, and that makes sense because you don't have to be close to everybody.
I didn't know how much they're changing it, though.
What are they doing?
I talked to my dad. There's no practice, qualifying, nothing. You get in the car and race.
How do they position each other?
By the points, how they are so far through 4 races, how they're going to line up.
So every race,
It's going to, so
if you're consistent, you're going to
so
stay
far
at the top.
there's 6 races lined up, but the big cup there's 4 so far.
Okay,
lined
man,
up.
I haven't followed NASCAR in a long time.
Yeah, but
does Danica Patrick still race?
No.
Okay, that's all I want to know. I was like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah,
here.
I was like, okay, so but Dad's like, they're not practicing. I was like, what do you mean they're not practicing? I'm like, you got to set the car up. They're like, no, they're just going to show up and race. I'm like, yeah, they're going to be wrecks. I might have to watch this.
Is my boy Barrett in the NASCAR still out there?
Doubt it.
Yeah, I know he's not. Okay,
So,
All right,
but
well, that's cool. Let's move on. So let's talk about the 2020 MLB draft date and how long we think it's going to be. So MLB, I guess they decided that it's going to happen sometime in July. It was originally supposed to be June.
yeah, it's always the first, second week of June.
Right. So the draft's been pushed to July, and I think they're also going to do. I don't know if this is set in stone, but they're supposed to do a virtual draft, basically kind of like the NFL.
I think July might be a little too quick, but I don't know. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
because you think about it, where like the NFL did the virtual draft, they had time because their college players had
That's
all
true.
season.
Okay.
These players between high school and college didn't have a season at all really to play. They had
so
a
then they
couple
have
games.
a whole extra year.
So you can see how well like certain people did. Like, are they going to be able to work people out?
Right. So I know that
That's what I was thinking. September would probably been better.
would have been. For sure, especially the way season's going.
Yeah.
No sense in rushing them. They're not going to give them straight up. Right, you're right. They should take this slowly. And also, they didn't have any time to figure this out. And I know the MLB draft isn't like the NFL draft. It doesn't get that much crowd. Not everybody's watching it. But this year could be different because they're only I'm just saying, like the MLB draft, because they're doing it so quickly, like you said, they don't have much time to figure things out. And who knows what's going on in the world? This could be interesting, especially because they shortened it to 5 rounds. So that changes the game.
Yeah, that's reported here in 5 rounds, which I think it's more so like we're hearing about the whole minor league system.
Yeah.
About they're talking about shrinking it, so there's no need for what was before like 30 rounds, I think, or something like that. So if we're going to shorten minor leagues, there's no reason for that many rounds.
I think they're shortening it to 21 or something like that after this. 20. It's in the 20s, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, because you think about how MLB wants it, they want only 3 teams per team. You're talking, what were we talking about? 90 minor league teams total, and you got to think about it. There's not that many. There's no rookie league. There's no short season. Most likely, there's no 2 upper A, lower A. Like, if this comes to fruition, I don't see really the draft being that much longer. Like, I think 10 rounds might be the future, maybe.
That would be crazy. So if they're only going to have 10-round drafts, so I mean, there's still a lot of good talent out there because you see how many talented players are coming out later in the draft. So what does that mean for other players? Are they going to go play overseas, or are we going to have are they going to do like what they do with the G League and start giving people contracts early and not even drafting them?
I think what this is going to fruition or tuition possibly where you don't probably see a lot of high school players going into the draft no more, getting drafted. Because if you don't let them go, or young international players being signed, because those can be spots too.
Yeah.
You start all being the rookie league and have to slowly work your way up because you'll be 17 out of high school. This is more so where you might have to go to college now, which more people are going to now instead of being drafted at high school.
But see, the way the future's going, if they want to save the game, all the kids are dreaming about getting drafted earlier and earlier. Just like I said, the G League started to pay people $300,000. They're taking 5-star recruits from going to college to go join the G League.
Yes.
The baseball cannot go backwards. They have to go forward because everybody's going to be doing the same thing sooner or later. And they're even starting to, and now the NCAA sees what's happening with the G League. They're on the train to say, hey, we're going to let you guys get paid for your likeness and all this other stuff, endorsements, blah,
deals,
blah,
yeah.
blah. MLB cannot take a step back.
I think more so with the whole. I understand because they believe that the 3-team system, that the big team will put more money into them, so the facilities might be better, training and stuff like that. But the talent wise, it's going to be scarce because then you're going to like, do I want to take like these 5 international players, see what will become of them? You might only take 1 or 2 because you don't have the spots, or someone you don't know be development might be that that shining rock that you might develop in a year, and you can't take a chance because you don't have a roster spot. It's gonna get dicey if it does come true that they only get 3 teams.
Well, like you said, only time will tell. We will see how this proceeds. But the one thing we do know for sure is that the Tigers are on the clock.
Yeah, and then what? I think it's Orioles. So it's but it's. I bet it's even harder to do a pick this year, especially the top pick.
Yeah,
because not like you watched the World. I don't know the World Baseball, but the College World Series.
Well, I mean, or they have plenty of time to go backwards and watch it, but that doesn't mean anything about today's game.
That's someone that
that's a whole year ago.
That had especially if you had a guy who had a year last year, and then started the couple games that he did get to play and was having a great stats, and then
it's hard to tell, especially like you said, because most people who had good seasons got drafted.
And then for the seniors, okay, so if they don't get drafted, they go back next year and play because they can.
Yeah,
or they're like someone they draft them late and you have decision.
We need to keep a close eye on this draft this draft class, at least the first round or two.
Yeah,
and we got to follow these guys, see what happens because this is interesting.
Yeah,
because they didn't really. This is a weird situation.
Yeah, especially for Tigers and Orioles they're rebuilding, which they're almost about there. They got a lot of young talent, and it's man, if you miss
5 rounds, you're shorting it to 5 rounds.
If you miss this year,
that's tight.
God, if you imagine if you miss a Mike Trout with the first pick and it ends up going 10th because you didn't have time to evaluate this.
Well, think of how many diamonds in the rough some of these guys might go undraft and get signed for pennies on the dollar, and then become guys you couldn't even expect. We could see a future Hall of Famer not get drafted this year, and end up on a team. You know what I'm saying? We could be. Who knows? And
that's the thing that can start happening in the future if it does go to 10 whatever, because I think Piazza was
64th round. I think he was down there.
That's the lowest drafted because there has been a.
And what did I tell you? Pujols got drafted 400 and something overall.
So
he won't even be drafted this year.
Yeah. A lot of players, if you think about it like that. But yeah, so we'll see what MLB do. Of course, between when they go do the draft, how many for sure, and then with the whole minor league system, what's going on. So, but next subject is something that came across on my phone, and it's kind of interesting. Did Pete Rose cheat with corked bats?
Well, funny enough, you said that because this story was released already again in 2010.
Yeah, I remember.
Deadspin said that they published a photo of a bat commissioned by Rose for his chase to the all-time record in '85, and then an X-ray from the Mizuno something appeared to show some object inside. They're trying to say it's cork. Pete says take it to an examiner, see if there's any cork in it. He says he guarantees you won't find it there. This is back in 2010. Yeah. Today, I think, some employee from an ex-employee maybe. From the Expos.
Yeah. So Joe Jammer, the groundskeeper at the Expo for 11 years, and the 1 year that Pete was there, partially for '84, he told Gallinger the hit king corked his bat, and a player had help from the visitors clubhouse. Manager, if I remember. Yeah, John Silverman. And he said, so Brian Greenberg, who worked at the visitor clubhouse, did it. Jammer said also Greenberg told him Rose corked his bats throughout his career and that he never checked because he's a singles hitter, not a home run hitter.
Okay, first of all, I'm calling BS. If this guy had a corked bat, anytime he broke a bat, it would have been exposed. How many games? There's no way he did not break a bat during the game. Also, cork bats are so you can hit dingers. This dude's hitting single. Who's corking a bat to hit a dinger? I mean, a single. That's a dribbler. It's not.
The only thing I could see where this could be true in his later part of the career, like '84, he was chasing, maybe he's I just need a little bit more. Absolutely possible. But I don't see, like you said, the whole career. He's not a home run hitter, and that's what cork bats have been known for.
I'm saying he's hitting singles. You're not corking a bat to hit a single. If he's gonna get a little poke, he don't want it to be corked because that's gonna end up being a pop up in and out. There's no, I don't get it, man. I'm gonna say this is fake news.
It's just funny how it's 10 years later, another story comes out.
Yeah, everybody's trying to bring Pete Rose down. They're always trying to. I'm not believing this one. There may have been a cork bat at one time. I don't know. Hey, Sammy Sosa, whoever, we've seen people like that have cork bats in the past. Big whoop. I'm just saying this is not this guy. He did not live off of a cork bat.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't see it happening. Like we said, this guy's a single guy, double guy, fast. Power, Pete Rose, okay. So
it just doesn't make sense to cork your bat when you're not hitting. You're not trying to go deep. You're not trying to break 700 home runs.
right, this is not where home runs took over those years.
If you know how to hit, which I can agree, Pete Rose knows how to hit. You're going to get hits. You're going to get singles. We're talking cork bats. We're not even in the same discussion right now.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You guys are killing me with this one.
Yeah, I laughed. I was like, did Pete Rose cheat? I was like, we be cheat. I clicked on it. I was like,
evidence.
Cork bats, Pete Rose.
The guy who brought this up was from like the 85 or something.
84.
Yeah, so this guy's
That's the only year he was with.
So he's probably like 70, 80. He's got dementia. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just trying to get in the story. I don't know. Next on our list is ESPN. So we're finally getting baseball back. It's not what you expect, but ESPN is broadcasting the KBO, Korean Baseball Organization, or I don't even know if that stands for that. But
Yeah, I think
KBO's baseball, South Korean professional baseball. They're showing it 6 days a week right now. And
Except for Monday. Monday's the only day that's off.
right, and I'm excited because I read up on this, and apparently this league is filled with home runs and more bat flips than we can imagine.
Yeah, the first video when the deal was almost done, they're like, people get ready for this bat flip. This is a common thing where two-hand, you chuck it over your shoulder. Like, I'm like, dude.
The ultimate disrespect. I am thoroughly interested.
And then the bad thing, like you said, like it's live late. But then when I read that they're going to show it in the afternoon on either ESPN or ESPN2.
They're going to show a repeat, I
Yeah.
think. So
I'm like,
ESPN2 at 5:30 in the morning on Tuesdays through Fridays, 4 a.m. Eastern time, we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Eastern time on Saturdays and 1 a.m. on Sundays.
Yeah.
So if you get up early enough, 5:30, 4 a.m., you can watch it.
You can watch it live.
But they're showing it again at like 2 or 3
like
in
2,
the
3
afternoon.
mostly what I saw
Right.
on the. So
I'm going to watch a game or two.
Oh, yeah.
I got to. I got to see these bat flips. I got to see some home run dingers. Hey.
yeah, but this is something I saw one of the articles that will get your interest in.
Okay.
Has a local reference with Norfolk Tides.
Okay.
Tyler Wilson.
Tyler Wilson.
You remember that name?
Yes.
Orioles, for 7 years.
Yeah.
Up and down. Well, he is the number 2 pitcher for the LG Twins. He posted a career best last year, a 2.9 ERA with a 1.1 WHIP in 30 starts.
Wow.
So he was not having a great years here. He went over there. He had a sub 3 the first year, and now just sub a 3. So far in his 2 years, he has a 2.99 ERA.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, and not bad. He's making 1.1 million playing over there.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm sure there's less stress and everything. And from what I've seen, it looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
Better than I thought it was going to be. I heard Korean baseball. I was like, I don't know, man.
As long as they don't be like, what is it, Japan, and show me fake fans in the stand. I couldn't.
I don't think that was Japan, was it? I thought it was China.
So, one of them, I just couldn't when they showed the one clip of the home run and then they showed the fans. I'm like,
that was funny.
I can't.
That was funny.
Why did you go to the fans? I know that's what you used to. Cut to the fans.
If it is Japan and they got fake fans, I want to see like Godzilla in the outfield, like out there, like that'd be funny, dude. I would love to see Japan baseball broadcast if they ever brought that back earlier.
Yeah.
That'd be.
But it's gonna be something. Like we thought, like baseball was gonna get this deal done to start the season earlier because they can thrive. If they're the only one performing.
Yeah,
you get more.
You get exposure, and they could use it. And like I said, that's what the only good thing about the quarantine is that you're getting exposed to things you never even thought you would, like Korean baseball or whatever the case may be. You know? Yeah. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Or you get to go back and like they've been showing all the old great games. They keep showing Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS. I don't know why they keep showing that game, but. Yesterday was a Pujols day, so MLB Network was showing all Pujols great games, and it was good, great to watch. I learned a lot. I learned Pujols wasn't drafted until like 400 and something overall. I was like, this is crazy. He went to community college in Missouri. Nuts.
Yeah, and then do you have a career like, we're talking 600 home run player, and
he could get to 7.
He said he wants to play after his contract's over.
I want to see him play. I want to see him get there.
It's going to be interesting because he is what we said about 20 for the next 3 years.
Yeah, and
something like that we broke down.
And it's not like he's having bad years. Like last year, he batted great. He just didn't get a lot of time to play. Yeah, but he was doing good.
Now you have Ohtani to DH2 there. You're playing time, and then first base. So
maybe he'll go to a team that needs him. Maybe the Orioles will pick him up.
Yeah, possibly. So yeah, So at least there's baseball back. So the next subject is we talked about before, but we finally got clearance of exactly what happened with our man Trey Manzini. He announced with the Player Tribune that he does have stage 3 colon cancer.
Right. So don't expect to see Trey back this season. Nothing but prayers to you, man. I hope you have a speedy recovery. I think what they say he should be out, or he'll be on chemo for about 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Okay.
So the craziest thing is when he went through the article I read was that, he did the normal blood test, thing, and they're like, okay, well, you're a little low.
Low on iron.
So, okay, we'll do a second test. And then when it came back even lower, that's when they went to deep dive. And the thing they thought was, different disease, and colon cancer was a third option because he's 27.
Right.
So, they thought like, a stomach ulcer or celiac disease. Like, okay. But then when it came back that he had colon cancer at 27, and he found out the day they stopped baseball.
That's crazy.
The day they halted games and stuff from the coronavirus and stuff. So it's insane that he got this. Like, it's funny, not funny, but his dad, being older, has had colon cancer back in 2011. So now being 27, having it, they say he started chemotherapy in April. So you're talking 6 months from April. So he's, of course, going to be out this year if there's a season or not. But, he's going to be ready to go next year.
Right, and that's tough, man, because he had such a good season last year. And I know that he's one of your and my favorite guys to watch because he went on the played with the Tides for a while. He's a really nice guy.
He is.
I wish him nothing but success. So I hope he comes back just as good, if not better.
Yeah, he talks on the article like where he thought he was about to get sent down last year because he's having a rough stretch. And then his sister sent him a picture right for during the All-Star break or something that you didn't come this far to give up. And it was like a picture of him playing when he was 8 playing baseball.
There you go.
And then he went on a tear to finish the season like he did.
Look, great story.
So, wish the best for him, speedy recovery. So we knew it was something crazy how not fans, but the
players how they were
like,
reacting.
they were shocked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're like,
we knew
what?
It was something serious. We knew it wasn't
Then
just
it was a tumor.
Right.
Like, okay, but not stage 3. Like, it's insane, especially being that young with colon cancer.
Well, prayers for you, Trey.
Yeah.
So moving on, some lighter news. Looks like the Mets, we all know they're still for sale, but who wants to buy the team? So as far as I can tell, there's nothing substantial yet. I know A-Rod and J-Lo have thrown their name out there. They're trying to put together a group to buy the Mets. The other name that's been thrown around more recently is billionaire Wayne Rothbaum. But he's only interested in buying the Mets at a discount. He wants to purchase them for about $1 billion, which is like a fire sale. Seriously, I don't know if that's going to go anywhere because the Wilpons were about to sell to Steve Cohen for $2.6 billion. That's a big discount.
I think the biggest thing is because of this coronavirus, because of how much debt you're going to take from this with, the fans not attending for a while and who knows what else is going to happen. But if you think, Rothbaum was he came runner up with the Marlins to buy the Marlins.
Yep, I remember that.
So he offered them $1.2 billion. So, and, but it's, but he might package deal to be with J-Lo and A-Rod.
That would be his best move, but it'd have to be more than $1 billion, I think, because Cohen was going to get 80% for 2.6.
Well, I think they're kind of where it's like, okay, take or leave it. If they're not going to throw in SNY, that's going to be the factor because then you're like, okay, if you're taking this debt from not having the channel, and now you're taking on this extra debt, if Wilpons don't do anything and the debt comes too much, they might be forced to sell no matter what.
Right, but this is a good time for them to have a bidding war because Cohen can still offer less than his original 2.6 and be in the race again. If he knows that they're going to sell it for $2 billion less than what he was going to offer them, basically, he can go out and say, oh, guys, I got this. I'll give you a little bit extra. Let's make it happen.
I think Steve Cohen's going to get in back in this because he's like, look, if you're not going to offer SNY at this rate, I'll give you this.
He's good. He's buying his time. He's got it. He's definitely got it.
If you get 2.6 without SNY, but then you want SNY because you realize that you need that to cover your debt every year to start. And he, I think, is a bigger Mets fan than them two because they just want to own the team. Well, not A-Rod apparently has been Mets fan forever, but The
Rothbard,
yeah.
Yes.
He
Wayne.
just wants to own a team because clearly with Marlins and stuff
Well,
like that.
that's what I said. He was only interested if it's at a fire sale. I don't want a guy like that owning the team. As a fan, I want somebody who's going to be interested and have interest in the game and the team. A-Rod would be interesting because he's a player. He loves the game. He knows what's going on. But, at the same time, Cohen has all the money in the world because I don't know if A-Rod, I don't know who his investors are going to be and how much he's going to be involved if he had to get a group together.
Yeah, he would pretty much be like Jeter where he's a partial owner, but he's going to be like the president where he can get fired by the chairman.
Exactly.
By the board.
Right.
Because there's going to be multiple people because they're going to need it. I think Steve's going to come in maybe sub $2 billion, like 1.8. And can walk away with the Mets.
And that's a good discount for him. Because he was already expecting to take on some kind of debt.
He's saving almost $800 million if he buys it for that. And that can be a couple years until he can get SNY or make his own channel. Because when the deal's up SNY, he can make it go to his own channel. Or, Will Ponds might decide to sell SNY down the road. And that could be the money.
Yeah, man, I'm just not sold on the Wayne guy. I think A-Rod, J-Lo would be fine if they get somebody, but I like the Steve Cohen coming back in the conversation. I don't know if he is. I think he's buying his time, filling out his next move.
I think this is going to fall right into his hand.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he had a done deal.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
So, all right. So we'll see what happens with them and if this, fire sale comes to anything. So real quick, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsor. All right, everyone, welcome back. So we're getting more and more details that we're finally about to get a clear clear-cut version of what the season's going to look like.
Possibly. There's no official plan to restart the season according to the MLBPA, though.
Yeah.
So they haven't heard anything official, but it's looking more like we're in the right direction.
Yep. Especially with Girardi coming out today that what he's hearing. So it's like if coaches and stuff are starting to hear, it's very close. They're finalizing the details before they release anything. So it's almost certain where we're going to get baseball here within the next 2 months because we're going to need a spring training. So, best case scenario, let's talk about it.
All right. So, like you said, though, the preferred plan would be to start play in late June or early July with as many teams as possible. So they want to play at their home parks as much as they can. They don't really like the idea of everybody staying at one spot, like at Tropicana Field or something.
Well, the first thing was the first scenario was everyone in Arizona, which I knew that was nowhere that's going to work. Then there was Arizona and Florida. I'm like, that could work. Then you heard trickling of possibly Texas getting involved. I'm like, how? I'm like, what are we talking about here? Then I'm like, why are we talking about? Like, we're good with the two Arizona and Florida. It makes perfect sense.
Right.
Spring trainings are
used
there.
to that.
Yeah.
I'm
like, why are we getting Texas involved? Is that going to be the neutral site for the World Series? Like, is that what you're talking about?
That could be. And I think they're trying to get a game of at least, or season of at least 80 games.
100 will be good, but I'm thinking 81 makes about sense.
Man, that's tight. That is a small sample size. That's half the season.
Yes.
That's an all-star break. That is not enough games, in my opinion, man. It's really close. We're cutting it really close there.
I think it's giving us something. Pretty much is what if see with hockey and NBA when they start up, if they want to finish their regular season, then go to playoffs because then it messes up start of next season. If you play longer for baseball, same thing. It's going to make a shorter off season. So maybe this way it's a little bit longer, possibly, but then you can still get back to a full season next year. I think this is why they're looking at it like that.
Well, so I know we're talking about a smaller season now.
Yeah.
John Heyman, he tweeted this. He said that early July remains MLB's target for a season. Spring training would likely be 3 weeks, plus 2 weeks for those who wish to come early, with minor leagues not too likely, but not canceled at this point.
Yes.
MLB rosters are expected to be expanded, and there may be a taxi squad as well.
Makes sense.
So, man, I didn't even think about the minor leagues now. So
rumor was right before we took our little break, that was one of the things I had wrote down for a possible week was the rumors was they were canceling minor league. I'm like, it makes sense.
It does make sense, but
when they asked the minor league baseball commissioner or whatever, they're like, no, we haven't heard anything. So they're planning to still have a minor league season at some point.
Right.
Because what they were hearing for Florida and Arizona scenario was there was going to be a developmental league, kind of like a minor league spring training where they do still play each other and they're still working out, being ready just in case something happens.
Right, and they need to, because if anybody gets injured, you're going to have these guys in prime, ready condition, playing games, live games, not simulated games.
No.
It's not the same. So these guys got to play. They got to compete. Plus, it'd be a big blow to minor leagues if they cancel the season.
And if they cancel the season, and a lot of places, this is when you're going to know what teams are going to be lost if they shrink the minor league system, because they're not going to be financially stable. Stuff's going to happen, especially like your single A parks.
Right.
Like they don't have, it's going to like their loss where they're like, we might have to file bankruptcy.
Well, and if they're affiliated with a professional team, those professional teams are going to have to find a place for these minor leagues to go play next season, or if they fold, So, like if the Tides folded, the Orioles, where the Orioles AAA organization, where were they going to go? You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy, because you got to have somebody else.
They're ultimately going to have to wait for that deal to be done with MLB and minor league because the contract is up. Next year is supposed to be the new year of the deal. So if Major League does take over the minor league system, then they have to work that out and whatever. But, I think they will have minor league baseball. It might only be maybe AA, AAA. We don't know.
All right.
We'll see what happens with that.
Well, then that would also affect the guys who are getting drafted if they got to go right into a AA situation.
Or they might where they send them to Florida or in Arizona where they just work out.
Right.
And then they wait till next year.
So spring training is likely going to be 3 weeks plus 2 weeks, and we're playing in July. Well, guess what? It's May. This stuff needs to start moving now. We're talking about a whole month plus a week.
Yeah. The where we're at, this deal needs to be done by the early next week.
Absolutely.
Because
things got to start getting in motion.
If people want to come in early, you're talking the last week of May. If your focus is start July 4th, we'll say. That would be opening day, July 4th, which pretty epic to start on that day. Unfortunately, there are probably no fans there on that day.
Right. But my thing is, what happens, because this seems like it's going to happen very quickly, we start getting into the spring training and MLB players start getting sick. Then we're going to really talk about this is going to have to be a canceled season. This could be a real thing.
I think this is what
why
it's taking so long, because first we're hearing, early June they wanted a couple weeks ago. Now it's early July, because I think they need to come with a plan agreement where everyone has to be tested.
Right, and you can't just come in too soon and then it all fall apart. They have to be right about this.
And then this is going to be interesting, because then you got to think about the teams in the hot spot, like both Yankees and Mets. Are they going to be able to play in New York?
Exactly.
Because then what happens to the visiting team? You're going to have a hotel where is MLB going to buy that hotel for the summer and be that a quarantine hotel?
No way.
That's where the team is going to be staying for visiting teams.
Maybe they can cut a deal with a chain for all their MLB teams during the games of the season, but I don't know, man. That seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Very unlikely.
Or unfortunately,
they're not in
is Yankees and Mets going to have to relocate for the season?
Possibly.
Maybe that's what's taking so long.
But if they have to relocate, then that's an unfair advantage if everybody else gets to play at their hometowns.
Exactly.
Plus, Georgia opened back up to the public, and they're all getting sick again all over. So, are the Braves going to be able to play? I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainties.
Yeah, very uncertainty to see what happens.
So let's get this scenario out there. Let's say everything is cool. Spring training goes just like they thought it would. We're looking really good to start the season in July. What does that mean for the season? Are we getting an all-star game at all? What's happening?
That's going to be a difficult deciation. I don't think they will.
Are they just going to be honorable mentions at the end of the year?
I think they'll do like a first team, second team, maybe all-star
fan vote, something. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to believe the game without an all-star team, man.
They're probably thinking, especially now with, it's not depending on the home field advantage for the World Series no more. No. So it's not no big deal. But it's going to be a mention. Like, I think instead of being a mid-season award, it's going to be an after-season award. I can see that happening. And it'll be a combination between fan vote and then, player vote. Because if you're going to 80 games.
Well, let's talk about it. So this could be a positive for one reason, because you're not just going to get the popular guys voted into the All-Stars. If it happens at the end of the year, we could be talking about stat-based. Maybe coaches call this. Maybe the coaches get together and they vote on it, or the players vote.
I think you do a player vote and coach vote, and then the fans can make their own votes, like make maybe their own list, like a fan all-star list, and then
don't the coaches vote for like the MVPs on like in like basketball or something like that, or maybe I'm thinking of college or something where the coaches vote on
the They vote, I think, what awards? It might be the NBA for the votes.
That's
for
what
the awards, I think.
Well, either way, I'm thinking, because a lot of the players, like I remember when the season after the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, all the Cubs were starting the All-Star game. And I'm not going to say that some of them didn't deserve to be there, but not all of them were deserving of the start. Come on. So that's why I like, if this happens and they do like an end-of-the-year award ceremony where the coaches or players or whatever get together and decide who's the best, who should be an all-star, who played to their best ability, we might see some different names that we haven't even heard of that we know they've been crushing it, but it's not a given.
Yeah, because instead of being, first team, second team, it's all-star selection with a little asterisk or whatever, like, you would have been all-star this year. But
absolutely.
But, hey, it's something. It's a little recognition, and it's probably something to do that because some have clauses in their contract to be all-star to get the extra bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to have to do something where it's going to have to be a postseason award.
I'm just thinking of the smaller markets where the guys don't get as much exposure or finally, and they've been killing it all. You're like, how did this guy get snubbed? And he makes the All-Star team. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, if we get, the 81 season, it makes sense because they don't want to go past like mid-November for a World Series.
I understand it's way too cold at that time to play ball, but there are winter leagues and there are they've grown up. These guys grown up playing cold ball in the winter weathers. But if we could find some indoor facilities to make it, if we're in the playoffs, I don't know.
I think I was listening to like worst case scenario. You think is Minnesota?
Okay.
If the Twins make it to the World Series, do you want to play in Minnesota because they're not in a dome no more?
But that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, since it's already a shorter season, if you get enough teams, I'm not sure how the playoff structure is going to work, but if you get all the teams in the playoffs and it starts getting colder weather, by the time they start breaking down to about a few teams, 4 to 6 teams, you could just do a neutral site in Florida or something like that where you play.
I can see World Series being a neutral site.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, World Series plays until usually about November 1st, second latest lately. So you're only talking about 2 extra weeks.
Or if we have to extend it, I would love to see baseball on Christmas. That's just me.
Thanksgiving would be pretty cool. Instead of
that would.
Oh, which would I watch, the World Series or some football games?
I'd watch the World Series because it's more. It means more at this point. But still.
But with mid-November World Series,
I guess unless the Astros are in
it. And in spring training, you think is okay November, and you think games a week and. It's going to be where, about mid-October, season will end, and then you get about 30 days to do a playoff. So you're talking mid to late November for a World Series.
What the crazy thing is, though, is that the season to be so short that nobody, not even the veterans, are going to be taking these breaks. They're going to be playing hard every day.
And the only people that are going to lose anything out of this is going to be your pitchers. They're getting less starts.
Right. But you know what? Another thing to think about is all those other episodes where we talked about who's going to win the division, who's going to do this, that could be thrown out the window because we have half a season. Anything can happen in half a season. Detroit can make the playoffs in half a season. I don't know, man.
I think with the half a season, that's why they're hearing rumblings that we might start the expansion of the playoffs this year.
We'd almost
7
have
teams.
to because there's not enough sample size to justify all the teams not getting in.
When I first heard it, I was like, it makes sense. Because you don't have enough games to prove yourself that you might be that team where...
Think about it. If the Mets did what they did last year when they went on that win streak, that would have been in the playoffs probably if it's half a season.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I'm not ruling out anything. Any crappy team that we're not even thinking about making the playoffs could seriously make a run and could win a World Series. If the Orioles won a World Series this year because of this season, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm just saying. It doesn't matter. It's just about getting
injuries
hot.
are going to be even more.
Oh, yeah.
If you think you're out for a 3-month, injury,
that means a
early
lot more.
season, okay, I'll come back for the second half. No.
No.
You're going to miss pretty much the whole season.
Right. Exactly. So if any players get injured, that's a wash, man. It's like you're going to really be hurting because he'll be playing for about a quarter of a season.
Especially if it's a contract year for you. Like Mookie.
But that could be an advantage to some people,
like
though.
That, yeah.
More likely an advantage to the teams because they're going to have bargaining power. But the players can also make an argument too. Small sample size. You know what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. But I'm more interested in seeing this is like the Wild Wild West out here, man. Anything can happen.
And the biggest thing is, see, when they give details of if it's going to happen, what's the full details is what they're going to expand the roster to.
Right.
Because like we said before, is the first part of the season, you might get starters on a shorter start. Not go long. There can be more relievers, but we got the 3 batter minimum rule. Is that getting changed?
Especially closer to the playoff time. So yeah, you're right. We'll be seeing a lot of short starts for some of these guys because their arms are still fresh. They're only pitching half a season. They're going to be out there like I can't imagine Justin Verlander like, oh, I want a 5-7 day break. He's like, no. I'm going to pitch this day. I'm going to pitch 2 days from today because I can do it.
And especially they start doing double headers.
Yeah.
How many pitchers are you going to get to carry now? Are you going to have 6 starters? It's going to be very interesting. And like you said, if there's a taxi, a team that follows them, God, like, man.
So the another thing, like I said, the short season just blows my mind, man, because there's so many possibilities, so many scenarios that I haven't even thought about in my head. But now that I'm thinking about it, it reminds me of March Madness because any team, Loyola, whoever, could beat Duke in the first round, and they're like a 16 seed. These teams are basically running for this title. They're in like a bracket, basically, because half a season, man, is nothing.
Well, when the first rumor that the other, the scenario they thought about for a season was the East, Central, West.
Yeah, that was even crazy.
I was like 10-team divisions. I'm like, how many people are we doing playoffs?
Right.
Are we doing 4 from each division and then do bracket?
That still might not be out of it. They haven't made any decisions. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to figure this out with half a season in this given time because all these places, not everybody's open. You said, like you said, New York's not open. They might not be open. We still might have to play something similar to that role.
But yeah, if they do the 3 teams, the 3 divisions, and like I was figuring like they have to do like 4. If you do 4 from each division, you're talking 12-team bracket style. No, there's no leagues. You think about 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be a blast. Best of 3, like the first round, and then a best of 5, and then you go 7 the next.
And like I said, these guys are pros, and they're all going to be fresh. So the worst team could win a series. That's all you got to do is win a series to move on and keep winning.
I just thought about this. This could be a year we might have a 400 average hitter.
Oh, easily.
Half a season?
We absolutely could. Yeah.
The home runs out of the question. No one's going to beat that record this year.
No. Pete Alonso has 1 year to be cool about. We're going to be talking about a 20...
25?
30, 25, 30, yeah.
30 would be a phenomenal season, I think, for 80 games.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Like 30. Yeah.
I feel bad because the guys that are playing this year are going to miss out on padding their stats for their end of the career kind of situation.
Yeah, especially them who are into their careers. Like this is going to slowly suck if you're
you're Mike Trout and you're missing half a season because of the coronavirus. That sucks. But everybody's in the same situation. I'm just
they're all itching to play. They don't care.
When it gets back to it, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see Detroit in the World Series. I can't wait to see the Orioles make a run for the playoffs. And
God, that I can imagine.
Look, the Mets are not out of it, man. We got half a season basically. If it goes to 80 games, it's going to be nuts. So 100 games is better.
I think.
But when you play 62 more games than that, you play 80 more games than the other one.
If I was baseball, I would go for is do 100 games. At least once or twice a week, do double headers to get those 100 games in and still focus mid to late November and do a neutral site World Series.
And think of how much baseball we have to cram into our heads because it's just going to be hectic. I can't look, this is exciting. It's bad. It's a bad situation, but it's super exciting because this is unheard of.
Just imagine like we start getting baseball back and then the NBA and hockey decides to go straight to playoffs and you're talking playoffs going straight to that and then baseball starting. Sports fans would be off the hook.
You got to get back in a rhythm. DraftKings can be all over the place.
God.
Who knows? I haven't seen a commercial in months. That's a first because you can't turn on the TV without seeing a commercial normally.
Yeah. And then, if we're talking July, you're talking football starting up.
Yeah.
OTAs, training camp.
That's quick, man. That is quick. We're already there almost.
It's May.
Crazy. Can't wait to see Joe Burrow throw the ball, man.
We're in May. This is where NBA and hockey playoffs will be going. We'll be almost there to conference final time closely. Because you're talking the early June is usually Stanley Cup in the NBA finals.
Absolutely.
This will be second round, at least right now. And they still decided they're going to do a regular season.
They're going to have all the championships in the winter.
That's what I'm saying. At least NBA already announced they're pushing back their start of next season, which you're going to have to if you're going to do this season.
I still don't think those guys need as much rest. They could do it if they want.
It's only a month.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Everybody's gonna have fresh legs. Is all I know.
It's gonna be very interesting when we get any sport back.
Yeah, we're gonna be
like I
seeing.
said, it's gonna be interesting watching NASCAR here in 2 weeks. There's no practicing. They're gonna wreck.
Right. And I'm thinking of the games, like NBA or hockey or baseball, whatever it may be. It's going to go one or two ways. It's going to be a lot of scoring or no scoring. It's going to be crazy. Going to be in a super crazy rhythm or not.
Yeah. Especially that first game back. Like, here we go.
We'll see what spring training will show us if we get back into it.
Yeah, the biggest thing with spring training is if they do it at their home park, are they going to travel to play games? Or is it more so 3 weeks of them training to simulation games to get ready for the start of the season? Or like, for example, Mets would play the Yankees since they're nearby.
So what I think is I can't imagine them just doing simulations. That doesn't sound very helpful to me. I think they need to play real baseball games. However, my solution to this, and I just thought of it, is that why don't you play your minor league team systems? You're still playing real games. You're playing the guys in your organization, so you don't have to really travel too crazy far out there.
That could be work.
Stay at your home. Bring your minor league system to you. Play each other.
Yeah,
that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, because you need something, and I don't think the risk of traveling, especially you're talking June.
You just need to get through the rhythms. You need to see real live pitching, real scenarios, and what better way to do it than with your own organization?
Like the first week, do just a quick like you would, running, working out, simulation, and then full-on practice games the next 2 weeks, and then opening day.
But yeah, and like I said, most of these minor league systems are close to the home team now.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it just makes more sense to me to keep everybody at home, keep the pros, the MLB players there, and bring the minor leaguers to you guys, play each other. That's the best way, in my opinion, to do it at this point.
It makes perfect sense.
It does,
like
man.
I said, you're not risking traveling, checking all these players, the bus, whatnot. So, but yeah, so we'll see. Like I said, the next 2 weeks for sure, they have to have a deal done. This into this week, early next week is be more preferred because then they gotta get all the equipment. If they gotta start testing people, then if people want to come 2 weeks early, you're talking last week of May, right after Memorial Day, people will start showing up to start training at the facilities.
I have to expect everybody showing up 2 weeks early, unless you have like a situation where you're scared because of the COVID-19 situation. But if you're trying to play ball, you got to get it in gear now.
Yeah.
That 5 weeks isn't enough time. You need to go now and just get in a rhythm.
Yeah.
Because when the season starts, it's going to be fast. It's going to be over quicker than we thought it was going to be here. Half a season. We would have already almost been closer to June and then an all-star break already. Think about it. Now we'd be getting into the second half of the regular season if it's a short season.
Yeah. Would have been a week away from the second half.
That's what I'm saying. It's nuts.
And then when they come out details, trades. When's the trade deadline going to be now? If you're talking about half the season, you're talking about what?
That's not enough sample size to even think about a trade.
Holy shit. Man, so if you say you're going to end the regular season mid-October, end of August?
Yeah, I just don't see it, man, because if we don't start till July, you're only getting a month. You're not going to have any real...
So August, 30th or something like that probably be scenario.
I don't even think they should have a trade deadline. Either they don't have a trade deadline or they just get away from the trade this year. Say, look, you got to... Bring
what you got.
Yeah.
This will be interesting.
Run what you brung. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is your team. You built them. Let's see how good you are. Let's play with your team.
Or like I said, if you want to trade, you got to trade for the start of the season. So spring training trades only.
That could be beneficial.
Because then you got to think about, okay, look, if we're going to commit to this year, who we need to get.
The normal trade deadline is around All-Star break, right?
It's like a week after All-Star break.
That's what I'm saying. So you have a whole half season that you're playing before you can. I'm just saying that you have a whole half season where you can't trade.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense to make trades happen right now because if you're going to make a trade, the teams that are going to want to make a trade are going to be closer to playoffs, which is only a couple months into the season. That's not.
And now you got to think about players who haven't signed yet, like Puig.
I've heard he's got.
He said he has interested teams. Now he's got to figure out who do you want to go to, or if they still even want him.
Yeah, because if they only have half a season to play with,
and especially where teams were getting interested, like for pitchers, like the Yankees were, they might not need it now.
Right, they might not. And you're right. Think about it. If they are going to offer Puig a contract, it's not going to be nowhere near what he thought it was going to be because you're only playing half a season.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, like
because they're not going to sign you more than a year right now. They're going to get a year to see if you're going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm saying you're going to get signed a short contract.
Yeah,
to prove yourself.
Yeah, any unsigned free agents out there this is terrible the way it came to.
Right. The only way I see this happening for Puig, unless they already have something in the works, is if a team's making a serious playoff run and they need that addition.
Yeah, I can see that.
If it's still available, I don't know what the league's going to call or what they're going to do about these things.
Yeah, what the details come out. So pretty much he's waiting to see what happens, just like we all are.
Well, hey, man, talking about this, though, is making me excited to see what's going to happen in this short league.
Yeah, especially.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, half a regular season.
Plus, I want to see if they change these divisions up. If they change these divisions up, this is going to be crazy.
If they change the divisions, that'd be interesting. If they keep how it is, but then they expand the playoffs, and if they do expand to the 17 playoffs, are we going to get the selection show? Like they were talking about, rumor is, where you get to pick your opponent?
I don't know about that one, but who knows, man? This is a different year.
Or they just go to bracket style. That'd be interesting.
I like bracket style. We could bet on that.
Just just go ahead and make it 8 and do a bracket style like that.
Well,
you'd have to make it even.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be interesting.
I think I got, if we're doing a bracket style with 8 teams.
8 teams from each division. Say it stays like it is. You get 8 from each league.
So we're talking 16.
Yes.
So I think the Orioles make it to the Elite 8.
Oh,
That's
man.
the kind of year we're going to have,
dude,
man.
Like once these news breaks and we break it down exactly when we get details, I can't wait. Because just the thought of certain stuff, it's just giving us goosebumps and excitement.
It really is, man. All right. I can't
So,
wait for that.
Hopefully you'll see us, see and hear us next week.
Hopefully.
Because like I said, there hope we some news by Friday, early next week, because they got to get everything ready. So, y'all be safe out there. We'll catch y'all next time.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for checking out this episode. Please share us if you enjoyed this content. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AA Sports Podcast. Catch y'all next week. Peace.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. That's right. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. That's right. For the record, lab on me going all the way. All the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. Stop. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record, for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hay. I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the balls. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it.